Hi guys, right here. So for this video, we'll be going through is Meta Anubis, which is Meta Drew as well. So this video for today, I'm gonna go through the kit, but I won't be doing too many deep tests because currently his kit is kind of hard to actually make it success because it feels like something is missing, like a key esper to make his key work. So I won't be doing too much of the deep testing. I'll just going through his some simple kit that he's going to do. So cause I think that Meta Drew gonna have a very good synergize with Meta Ollie maybe in the future, cause we already know there's a Meta Ollie, right? So maybe we're gonna see like how good is Meta Drew gonna synergize with Meta Ollie, but at least for now, at least at R0 at test server, it's pretty hard to make him work because in our current game, legendary esper that have the revive kit is kinda limited range, so there's not many choice at the moment. So let's take a look at Meta Drew 3D model.
It's time to attend today's matters.
Right, so the 3D model itself is pretty solid, so let me rotate a while. Okay, then if I click on it,
Drew, at your service.
right, overall it's very nice, and you can see the body glowing part is kinda like, you know, somewhere here. And yeah, alright, so Meta Anubis here, you have a HP leader buff. I'm pretty sure this is a 40% HP leader buff universal, like the other Meta Esper, because if we look at Meta Liling, it's a 40% attack leader buff universal. So I think that Meta Drew one is going to be a universal HP leader buff. Okay, then this one, S1, attack one enemy, deals damage by his max HP. The reason why I think they actually put Meta Drew as a max HP here is because he can permanently steal stats from the target attack and defense. So if you actually just put Meta Drew and he can just keep on absorbing the enemy attack and defense, and his attack is gonna get higher and higher, then it's kinda hard for him to die at that point, right? So I think that's the reason why they put Meta Drew as a max HP skill esper, and this permanently skill will transfer the steal stats to the allied esper with the most burden of dwat stack. If you don't have burden of dwat, it's going to be random. So if the esper who have got the most burden of dwat, or they have the same stack, let's say 10 stack and 10 stack, or let's say 5 stack and 5 stack, then it will be RNG. So you can't like specific make one esper get most burden of dwat unless he have the highest stack, then the other one is slower. Okay, so if the target is a boss, which is most of us are curious of, their attribute will not be reduced. But from what I'm tested, the boss attribute cannot reduce, but it can still boost your allied attribute. So let's say you max skill it, so you can increase the attribute stolen to 100. So every time his S1 will steal 100 attack and defense to one of your esper who have the highest burden of dwat stack. The boss won't reduce the attribute, but your esper will still increase the attribute by 100 attack and 100 defense. Okay, so if the target can be stolen, then the target will reduce 100 defense, 100 attack, and your esper will increase 100 attack and 100 defense. This effect here, there is no limit because there's no cap for it. You can just keep stealing until they just gone until 0, or it can also trigger by Avatara. It can also be triggered by relief set. As long as Drew trigger S1, then it will still attribute. So this is actually one of the main kit for Drew, which so I think his main set he can go for is like relief set plus Avatara set, and just helping your esper to steal the attribute. Then if we look at the passive, so this passive here is what our current esper or current PvE team can't really fully utilize at the moment. So we're gonna wait for other esper, maybe the bird esper, maybe Meta Ollie. I'm gonna bring something new to the game. Of course, for now, there's not really a lot of esper that can fully utilize this eternal passage. So eternal passage is when Meta Drew dies, a revival countdown will begin. So this countdown we cannot check. So we're gonna count it by ourselves, and after ally who have take 8 active turn, so you cannot be counter attack all these things, you have to be your own esper for turn for 8 times, then Meta Drew will revive for himself. So this one here is self-revive, but the effect trigger have to be every time an ally Esper revive. It have to be ally Esper, then they revive, then all ally Esper damage increase by 10%, max 5 stack. So this Eternal Passage is very strong because this Esper damage increase by 10%, you can go up to 5 stack. It's a 50% damage increase for free. But the condition is actually pretty hard for our current game because you need Esper to revive. There's only a few Esper that have a very strong revive kit and also usable in PvE. So let's say in PvE, the only few Esper that we can really use is like Abigail, Phantom Sister, Yujing, and who else? Tolan, self-revive. Only these 4 Esper that is performing very good in PvE content have revive kit, but they are not in the really meta in our Falsetto Fantasy, and usually in Falsetto Fantasy they can't die. So if you really want to use this Eternal Passage for PvE content, it's pretty hard at the moment. Maybe in PvP, but PvP you can use like Cecilia, Phantom Sister R6, all these Esper to help you revive, right? But at least for now in PvE meta, it's a bit hard for us to abuse this Eternal Passage. So that's the reason why I say Meta Drew is not at his final form, because you can't fully utilize his passive. Then the S3 here, every time an ally taken 30k damage, so if it's a total damage, so if you get 5000 damage and then you slowly accumulate until 30k damage, then you get 1 stack of Burden of Dwat. So 1 stack of Burden of Dwat will give you 8% crit damage, 10% accuracy, and 10% resist. You can stack it up to 5 times, so it's a total of 40% crit damage, 50% accuracy, and 50% resist. So overall, the buff here, the Burden of Dwat, is not that broken, but it's not weak, because crit damage 40% is actually pretty good. Accuracy and resist is kinda meh, because most of the time if you're DPS Esper, you don't really need the accuracy unless you're doing some certain content, you want to land a debuff, or else the accuracy is kinda like, if I get it, I get it. If don't, it doesn't matter, right? So, and this stack is kinda special because this stack here, it won't reset upon revival. So this is the main point, because if you pair something like Lushang or Saturated buff will get reset, or the effect will go off if they die, right? Okay, then when any ally take fatal damage, they will receive max number of Burden of Dwat stack, which is instantly 5 stack if they take fatal damage. So this effect will instantly apply for Esper that have Esper that can prevent themselves from dying and recover HP. For example, Zihe passive, for example Anna, for example Jiang Julie, for example Hyde. Because this kind of Esper in their kit, they did mention that they will prevent themselves from dying and they'll recover HP. So for example, something like Zihe, right? So Zihe passive, when Zihe take little damage, she will dispel all her debuff and recover HP to 100%. So she did not die. So what kind of condition will trigger as they actually die? So for example, Tolan here. So Tolan is where is it? Final passage here. When this effect is expired, if Tolan is fallen, revive him. So Tolan have self-revive. Then if we take a look at Anna here at the Rainbow Seed. Consume 1 Rainbow Seed, prevent Anna from dying, dispel all the debuff and recover HP. So this part here will prevent Anna from dying and it will instantly recover HP. So Anna will only trigger the Burden of Dwat stack gain, but will not trigger the Anubis passive. So this passive here have to be revived. All these Esper kit that is prevent themselves from dying and recover HP will not get triggered. Okay, then and Meta Drew will get a bonus turn. So if a Esper get a fatal damage, for example Zihe passive or Jiang Julie or Anna, then Meta Drew will get a bonus turn, so you can cast S1. Then your S3 damage is 8% max HP damage, and then the more stack you have, the more stack of the Burden of Dwat stack in your team, the higher the damage. Because the damage deal also scales with the number of Burden of Dwat stack your ally Esper have. The more stack they have, the higher the damage. How many percentage? No idea. I did not do the calculation. I'm not really good at all this like min-maxing calculation stuff. Maybe we have to wait for GGEZ, but at least for now we can know that it's an 8% max HP damage, and the more stack it is, the higher damage. But I think the main point for Meta Drew is not about his S3, it's about his S1's attribute still. because this doesn't have a cap. So if you actually S1 for 10 times, let's say relief set or maybe Avatar set, then Meta Druid can help you steal a total of 1000 attack and 1000 defense for your Esper. So the 1000 attack and 1000 defense is actually pretty good for your long-term battle. For example, Desolate Land maybe, because it will help you with your, let's say you get attack up bonus, everything, it will stack it up together. So it's going to be very, very strong because there's no cap for this thing. Okay, then for the rival rune, he's going for Frost set and Avatar set. It's a very tanky build. The Frost set, even though Frost set, right, it's not really good pair with Yukini, because in Yukini team you don't want to die, and in Meta Druid team you want your Esper to die and revive to become stronger. So this Meta Anubis gameplay is more about you die, you revive, you become stronger, and we smack them. Then the Divinate here is an Avatar set. So if you go to D3, counter attack chance by 25%, so you have a free Avatar in his kit. I haven't tested if this counter attack chance is stackable with Avatar. Is it like a same rate, or maybe it's a separate calculation, like 20% chance and 20% chance, or they are just 20% chance, or they are total are 50% chance. For this part, it's not tested yet. Okay, then this is the Divinate art. It's a very, very cool art, like Meta Druid here at your service, and this one here, he's wearing the butler uniform, and then you can see him like punching the other bad guy down. Okay, then this is the R0, right? Now let's take a look at the Rezo. R1 here is same like the other Meta Esper, base stats increase and further increase by 5% for every Rezo your Meta original Esper have, which is going to be non-Meta Druid. So Druid, everyone have him R6 because it's a rare Esper, so you instantly get a total of 45% stats boost from your R1. Then R2, raise the stack limit of Burden of Blood to 10 stack. So originally you can only stack it 5 times, so you can only get 40% crit damage and 50% accuracy and resist. But after R2, then this Burden of Blood is going to be very strong because the crit damage you can get now is 80% increase, and then the accuracy and resist increase is 100%. So even your DPS Esper doesn't have any accuracy to land. For example, let's say Elif have Seer, maybe Defend Break, you instantly get the accuracy for free. It's actually a very strong buff. So I would say Meta Druid is R0 is already good, but R2 will make it even further because it double up your Burden of Blood bonus gain. Then your R4, I would say this R4 here is more towards for PvP, because when Meta Druid dies, the revive countdown from 8 turn reduced to 5 turn. So it makes your Meta Druid revive faster. But I think this is more towards PvP instead for PvE, because PvE with a max HP scaling kit, I don't think you will actually die. Then R6, increase the max number of damage up stack an ally Esper can gain from ally revival to 10 turns. So this one here, right, this Eternal Passage is this one. So usually you can only stack 50%. The Esper damage here is only 50%, but now you can increase up to a damage gain of 100%. But the condition is actually very tough, because this condition here means your ally Esper have to revive 10 times. So that's the reason why I think Meta Druid is very hard to use at the moment, because the main thing about his passive is kinda hard to use. It's not unusable, it's just very hard to use. So his main point is about his S1 attribute still at the moment. So yeah. Then this is the attribute, level 70 attribute looks like, and then this is the profile. Esper Union, Moose Cake, Thematic Stone, age 36, birthday is May 20, height is 180 cm. So originally the Rare Druid Rare Druid is okay, so he's at the same height, just that he became more bulkier. Right, so I will show you some simple testing in game. So I'll test the S1 damage, so you can take a look how it looks like. For example, I'm gonna put Sally here. Okay. Okay, so now if I S1 on the target, attribute down, then you attribute up for my Esper, which means I actually steal 100 attack and 100 defense from this target to my Sally. So now my Sally have higher attack and higher defense, and there's no cap for it. So I can steal more, and it will give more. So you always see an attribute down and attribute up for my Esper. Because two of us doesn't have the burden of Duat, so it will be a random stack. So this is how his S1 work. Then for the S3 it's pretty cool, but the damage itself, because it's max HP scaling, and now I don't have any extra burden of Duat stack, so I'm just going to cast S3 and it will do a cast of AoE damage. Like this. So then the other thing, how do you know if you have Esper that trigger the damage buff? So let's say if I put a level 1 Esper here. Okay, let me push it down. Alright, let's say I put B down here. Okay, then I'm gonna put in Abigail to revive him back later. So I'm gonna take B down, kid down. Alright. Okay, still buff. Okay, Bida is not dead. Okay, now Bida is dead, right? Then Meta Drill will get a bonus turn, but it got torn just now. Okay, so now Abigail revive Bida, then it will trigger Meta Drill 10% damage bonus, and it will be a AoE effect here. So S3. So you can see there's a circle up here just now. That's the revive effect. Then every 1 damage will increase by 10%. So in order to get maximum 50%, you need to do this 5 times. So it's a very hard condition. And the reason why I think Meta Drill have a very high potential for it is because of Zihe. So Zihe also have the same thing. So why Zihe is so strong is because of her S3 will increase the damage, will increase the boss damage taken by casting S3. So if you can actually make Meta Drill to use this buff, you increase your damage. So this is actually a damage increase buff without putting debuff to the boss. So it's going to be a very unique debuff to Desolate Land as well. But this attribute buff is going to be one of the main point of the Meta Drill can be used currently. I'll be testing him more at the live server because I think this attribute buff maybe is going to be broken, especially if you steal a lot of the attribute for your level 70 Esper. Then your level 70 Esper going to have a lot of attribute, and then you're going to get a lot of benefit from maybe from accentuated buff, the attack up buff, all this thing, right? So yeah, that's all for this video. I'll be doing more testing about him. If I have any new information, I'll put it in another video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment down what you guys think about him, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is JNMP, Epic Bullet Boy, Sky Elk, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwatts, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, Emu Kragan, Calamity, Rocco Senzions, Jordan Alons, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wilderness, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chani. Thank you so much for your support.